How you can stay festival ready during festival off season. I'm gonna go over all the things that I do during my festival off season to stay festival ready for when festival season rolls around again. Technically, there are festivals every single month of the year. However, I would say March through September is when the bulk of the festivals are, that there are just so many. So a typical off season could be anywhere from like October through February, but it's up to you. If you take extended breaks from festivals, then your off season could look different. In my case, my festival off season was 8 months, and that's probably the longest I've ever gone outside of COVID, of not going to any festivals or big raves or anything like that. And if you don't know why and would like to know why, you can watch this video, and this gives a life update on what happened to me in this last year. But my last festival was in August of 2024, and I'm about to go to my first festival in April of 2025. So let's get into all the things that I did over these last 8 months to prepare for this upcoming festival season. Planning is the biggest thing that I do. And within planning, there are 4 main areas. So I decide which festivals I want to go to, if I'm going to do them solo or with friends, how I'm going to save and budget for them, and then how I'm going to allocate my PTO. How to decide which festivals I want to attend. Every single year, I come out with a festival bucket list of all the festivals that I want to go to for the year. 9 times out of 10, I'm not making it to every single one of those festivals. So for example, many of the festivals I want to do in 2025, I wanted to do in 2024 or 2023, and they didn't happen. So they just kind of keep rolling over. And if you want to see the festivals I want to go to this year, then you can watch this video. And right now, my main priority is to keep going to international festivals and American festivals that I have never been to before. Except if events are happening in the city that I'm living in, then I'm okay repeating those. And I keep track of all of the events that I want to go to in the notes app of my phone. Like if I'm on social media or friends bring up something or there's a festival announcement that I come across, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go to that. I just add it to the list. And then I eventually just see what year I can work it in. And here's an example of my 2025 note of the festivals I want to attend, where they're at, and what month that they're taking place in. And I like to break it down like this by place and month so I can see how my year is going to pan out, and if I'm planning too much or maybe not enough, see where I can fit things in. If another festival were to pop up, if somebody hit me up saying, hey, I want to go here, then I can look back and be like, no, actually I can't because I got something else to do. So I figure out which festivals I want to go to and then build a calendar around these main events. Which festivals to attend by myself and with friends. The majority of my festivals these days happen with friends. Sometimes it's because we found out about a festival together. Me and the corporate raver, for example, like we want to do all the Tomorrowland festivals together because we have done Tomorrowland Belgium and Tomorrowland Brazil together. And then certain friends, it just depends on the type of festival. So I'm going to Movement in Detroit in May, and that's a house and techno festival. So I hit up the friends that I did ARC with, another house and techno festival. So it just depends on the type of festival, the type of music, and who I want to ask. Sometimes I don't even ask anybody because I just know I want to do a festival by myself. I love doing that. I try to aim for at least 1 to 2 festivals inside and outside of the United States every single year by myself because it's just a different vibe. I'm used to it. I like it. And I'm just showing you guys that you can absolutely do things by yourself. Like I know I want to go to Saunas Festival, right? I've been wanting to go to Saunas for 3 years. This is in Croatia. And so I've talked about it, and there are people that are like, I want to go to that, or that sounds great. Let me know when you go. So sometimes things like that come up, but also if people start dropping like flies, if they don't actually commit to my plans, I'm going without you. So in general, I like to mix it up. Most of my festivals, I'm with somebody, but there are times that I like to go by myself, and it just depends on where I'm going, the type of festival, and really just how I'm feeling. Budgeting and saving for these festivals. Festivals are expensive, whether you're inside the United States or outside. Obviously, going outside the United States is going to cost a lot more money just because it involves international travel. These 13-hour flights are not cheap. What I do is I keep track of the festivals that I want to go to and their expenses on an Excel spreadsheet, and it just helps me keep track of my expenses and also budget for expenses. I budget trips by planning. For example, I want to go to Saunas in Croatia. I look at how much the ticket would cost. I start pricing out flights. Like, yes, flights are going to fluctuate. Hotel stays are going to fluctuate. Things like that are going to fluctuate. But at least I'm looking and getting an idea of how much these flights are going to cost. If I'm going by myself, this hotel is going to cost me this much. Or if I know I'm going with somebody else, like the hotel is going to be split in 2 or 3 people now. But either way, I have a rough idea of how much flights and hotels are going to cost. And then I also plan a spending budget while I'm there in 2 weeks. How much do I think I'm going to spend? Am I going to spend $100 a day, $150 a day? So I just like to plan as much as I can and budget out, estimate the cost of how much things are going to be. After I price things and budget them, then I look at my paychecks, what days I'm going to get paid, and then start saving money. Okay, this paycheck, I know I can set aside $300. Okay, the next one I can set aside $700. So I am actively saving every single paycheck for these big events. If payment plans are available, I like to do a good little payment plan. Sometimes there are fees involved, like a $10 payment plan fee, but I don't care. If you don't want to drop the $1,000 on a VIP ticket right away, then get on that payment plan. Yes, you're technically spending more by paying that little fee, but it hurts a little less. Unless you got the money, then go ahead. These events that I'm going to are very expensive. I'm traveling across the globe. You have to be willing to say no to things. You have to be willing to sacrifice things. If all of my friends are going to EDC Vegas, guess what? I already went to EDC Vegas 5 times, so I don't care that everybody's going. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna take that $3,000 that I would have spent on EDC Vegas and go across the world. You get used to saying no, get used to ignoring the FOMO. I don't have FOMO anymore. I have JOMO, the joy of missing out, just because I know I'm gonna see my friends again. This isn't the last festival I'm gonna see them at. I'm gonna see them at more festivals again, and because I know I'm saving for something so much more exciting, something brand new, and something so much better in my mind, like just a whole new entire experience. Get used to saying no and just be comfortable that you're going to have to sacrifice some things if you want to save for bigger and newer and even better events. How I use my PTO. Thankfully, I have paid time off. That's what PTO stands for. If you don't know what that means, I work a 9-to-5 in corporate America. So I get paid time off and I have 22 days of PTO to use. So what I do is if I'm going to a festival in the United States, I will do everything in my power to not use PTO. To me, that is wasted PTO. I want my PTO for international trips. Oh, and also I'm a fully remote employee, so this helps a lot. I know not everybody can do what I'm doing, just to preface that, but if I'm going to a festival in California, for example, this is what I've done before. This is a real life example. If the festival is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I will fly out Thursday night and then work during the day. So I try to fly after or before work hour, and then I will work remotely. So if the festival starts Friday, I will work all day Friday up until the festival starts. And even if it's a daytime festival, like I'm just gonna have to miss out. I do not want to waste my PTO. And let's be for real, all these festival lineups are starting to look the same anyway. So most likely I've already seen some of these artists on this lineup, but I do still want to get as much of the festival as I can, but I also want to keep my PTO. And I don't take any recovery days. This last EDC, I needed to be at work Monday. I've already done EDC 5 times. So I left EDC Sunday night and I got home early AF Monday morning, like at like 2 a.m. I slept for a few hours and signed on to work Monday 9 a.m. and that takes a toll. Not everybody is going to want to do that. It is so important for me to save my PTO for international travel. And at the beginning of the year, when my PTO bank gets reloaded, I look back at all the festivals that I want to go to for the year, see which ones are in these foreign countries, and then plan around that, right? So if I have 22 days, that's 4 weeks and 2 days. Like I could be spending a week in this country, 2 weeks going to multiple countries. So that's why it's so important for me to save my PTO for these international trips, because I want to spend time over there. And it's not easy for me to work remotely. It could be, right? If I was to work remotely in Europe, I would be working from like 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., which is doable. But if I'm going to Asia, like that's a 13-hour time difference. I'm not going to be working remotely in Asia. So in general, I just try to save all my PTO for international travel. So that was the planning side of things. Now, what do I actually do during my festival off season? One of the things I do is stay fit and healthy. I work out 4 to 5 days a week. My physical stamina is important to me, especially lasting at these 3-day festivals, walking 30,000 steps a day, shuffling, you're in the sun. So my physical health is important. I stay in the gym I also eat relatively healthy. I try to follow the 80-20 rule as much as possible, where I'm eating like whole, clean foods, cooking all my food at home, but I do like to dabble. I do want the pizza sometimes. I do want to go out. I also limit my drinking. I did go a whole year without drinking, but I am drinking right now. I mean, sometimes it's only once a month. So I just really try to eat clean and limit the alcohol as much as I can, again, to keep up my physical health. My nutritional health is very important. I mentioned shuffling at these festivals, so that's another thing that I do. So not only am I working out 4 to 5 days a week, but I'm also getting my steps in, and I like to shuffle just because it's a good exercise. It helps me get my steps in, and like I'm staying festival ready for when it's time for that beat drop. I'm gonna be shuffling circles around you all over the dance floor. I also take care of my mindset. I like to read and meditate and journal and just be positive and set intentions and affirmations of nothing but good and amazing things to come in my everyday life, but also in my festival life too. And just because it's festival off season doesn't mean that I'm just sitting at home not doing a damn thing. So I try to do a lot of local stuff. So that involves going to shows. So it's not like I'm not raving completely, like I'm just not going to huge, big festivals, events, and traveling. Like I'll go to my local EDM venue, right? Or do other things too. Like, yes, I love raving, but my whole life doesn't revolve around raving. So I just try to find fun and local activities to do. And those are all the things that I plan and do during my festival off season. Right now it's the beginning of April and my first festival is at the end of April. So I am excited to start my 2025 festival season. So stay tuned for lots of festival content to come. There's a lot planned. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.